My name is Joshua Brecht. I am with ECF Media with East Coast Facilities, and today I am talking about the benefit of being a dictator. This is not clickbait. This is exactly as the word says of being a dictator. This is exactly what it means. So when you click on this, you want to know the benefits of being a dictator, this is it. But it's not what you think. It's not the dictator as being a dictator of a country or being a dictator as a project manager, but it actually has to do with dictation. Dictation of words, meaning you speak and it gets dictated into text. This is the most important thing you can learn to do as a creator, as a sales rep, as somebody that's looking to document any type of training for CEOs. Pretty much anybody can use this skill to dramatically change. Now, I'm going to be talking about a couple of different use cases for this and the benefits. First and foremost, I'm going to be talking about addressing the sales rep level. You may not know this, but when I first started with ECF Media, East Coast Facilities 5 years ago, I started off as a brand manager, but also I was hired as a writer. And additionally, Joshua Gomez assigned me as a support to the sales team. Now, of course, we had a smaller sales team at the time, and I was going to be kind of teaching those in the sales team to and to help them out with the training. So this particular skill helped me with this process. The second level is for if you're an internal brand or if you're a content creator or you're dealing with marketing. This is going to be something that's going to be a game changer. Learning how to dictate is a game changer, but also if you on another level is going to be use case of training. So if you want to train more, if you want to document more, this is a key skill that you will learn to be able to get this information out. And additionally, those that are using AI, this is another way to keep you as the AI in its place. The AI content that you create will be you alone, not something from somebody else. And this will be completely, incredibly beneficial for you. So before I continue, I'm just going to refresh my feed. Make sure that we are getting some chat. Okay, there we go. All right, I see it. Okay, so let's begin. So let's talk. Well, first of all, how did I come across this? So I recently posted about an event and about a time in my life when I was 18 years old, and I wrote a memo that started the whole monochromatic look for Regis Philbin. Now, this is how it happened. I wanted to, at 18, I wanted to join a company that would give me maximum opportunities. That's what I was always taught, make the most of my opportunities. And when I lived in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, I lived right across the street from the Southwest Mills Mall, massive, massive mall. But this is really maybe a couple of years after it was really built. And there was a company, PVH, which is Philip Van Heusen, and they own Bath, they own Van Heusen, but they also own Jeffrey Bean. Now, Jeffrey Bean is usually known for their casual attire. Now, I went in and I found out that as I was interviewing with all the different stores, I found out that this was the flagship store of the entire company. So you're talking about 1,500 stores. This was the flagship store. Not only the flagship store, but the district manager worked personally inside this store was his office. So I'm thinking to myself, out of all the jobs that I could get as 18, this was the one, because I would have instant access to the district manager. What made it even a higher chance of me being with the district manager and being able to communicate was the fact that at this store they had a prototype dress shirt department, which nobody wanted to work in. Now, I've been wearing suits since I was younger, because of, from a religious standpoint, I've always worn suits and shirts and ties. So I love suits. I love getting suits and stuff. So this was easy for me. I love suits. So this was great. And so I got the job for this company. Now, we started doing amazing sales. It started doing very well. And this was around the same time that the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was out, very popular, Regis Philbin, and he would come out wearing his same shirt, same tie, type of deal. And people loved it. People loved it. Now, at the same time, Jeffrey Bean was selling these kind of like rayon, rayon type, kind of silk type looking shirt at that time. And they were doing very, very well. And so let me just go back to how I got connected with my district manager. So I have always been a writer. Writing has been my thing. A lot of people contribute my skill set to actually editing and video production, but that really comes from my discipline in writing, and always writing since I was very, very young. I've always been a writer. Matter of fact, for me, editing is simply writing. It's taking all the different source materials and it's creating a narrative structure, and that's how I do my editing. Even if there's no words or any voice or whatever, it's just music, there's still a story that is being presented. So I used to write. I used to go in, and when I was on break, I would sit at the table that was next to his office, and I would write. And one day he's passing by and he sees my writing, and he really, really loved it. And one of the biggest challenges that he had was when he would write memos. He would write memos to the company, and he said that's one of his biggest problems is writing. Now, I've always said in all of my kind of previous posts and what I teach has always been look for problems. I've been a seeker of problems. I love to find problems and solve them. So I helped him out. So he would write it out. He would write it out. I would write it out. And then essentially I would fix it. So this is in effect how a lot of people use AI today. They will give the AI their thoughts, and then through using tools like Grammarly or even just rewriting in general, and they would rewrite the original thoughts. And so he was dictating to me his thoughts. I would write them down, and then I would adjust them. And it worked really, really well. And then going back to the Regis Philbin situation, is I mentioned to him, I said, they're really selling out. People love them, but Jeffrey Bean's getting no credit for this. They're basically just, people like the look, and he's just wearing them. There's no brand affiliation to him wearing this. We should see if there was a way to make a deal with Regis or with the company with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire to just kind of like sponsor. And since our sales, you can show them that our sales are already doing very good. So we crafted multiple memos kind of talking about the advantage and the benefits of doing this. And within maybe 6 to 8 weeks, it came back that Jeffrey Bean just signed a deal with Regis Philbin, and they would be actually sponsored. And so when he came out, and at the end credits, they would say clothing line, would be by Jeffrey Bean, and would actually be the Regis Philbin Who Wants to Be a Millionaire look. And for like 2 years, it was super, super popular. Now, I'm 18, did not make any money off this, but it really showed the power of being able, my skill, the power of networking, but more importantly, it shows the power of dictation, how you can dictate thoughts and we transcribe them, you dictate the thoughts, and then essentially will help you with your writing, with your creation of content. Now, I've used this my whole life. I've always felt that data is very, very important when it comes to really having an edge in the work that you do. In addition, having text, so even though we're video-based, video is still based off of text, based off of people talking. And then, even when people go to look at social media posts, it's the text that keep people, not necessarily what they see. So using text is so important. So the most amount of text that we can capture, that we can collect, will give us a competitive advantage when it comes to creating a brand, creating content, writing a book, whatever your goals are. This will help. Writing email, writing text messages, even as of late, Apple created the Apple Intelligence where you can now write out a text and then you can then use AI to clean it up, make it more professional, make it more casual, make it more conversational, and all by using the tools that we have right now. But once again, it's utilizing your own thoughts, and then AI can just help and kind of refine those thoughts, much like an editor would do, or much like a tool like Grammarly would do to your content. So let's go back to the benefits of being a dictator. So essentially that just requires you dictating your thoughts, using your voice. Typing may not be a lot of people's strong suits, but now at the click of a button, you can just start talking. You can start talking. You can say all of your thoughts. It's almost like a brain dump of all of your thoughts. And then the AI can collect all of these thoughts and they can refine them for you. So let me talk to you about the first level that I mentioned, that's in sales. Now, when I first started, as I mentioned, I started off as an assistant to sales. And so essentially, what I would do is I would meet up with certain sales reps. And at the time, sometimes there was a challenge because there might have been a language barrier sometimes, and a lot of times if you have a language barrier, you feel more comfortable speaking the language of your heart, speaking your language. You can communicate better, clearly, to the point, because writing is supposed to be simple. But when it comes to English, sometimes it could present a challenge, and vice versa. A lot of our content has to be in different languages because we represent many different languages. So being able to change that over, much more comfortable for me to write in English and then have it translated into Spanish or French or whatever it may be. And so when you're dealing with, when you're working with somebody that has a language barrier, using dictation is very helpful, because what then you can do is you can just say your thoughts, what you want to say, what you want to do, and then allow the AI to translate it, and then use Grammarly or the AI itself just to clean it up for you. So then somebody that doesn't have English as their first language, because a lot of times on LinkedIn, it's very English based. Now you can write in your own language and then people can hit the translation button, but really if you can, it's always good to use English. And so, especially on LinkedIn. Now, if you're writing emails, if you're writing a social media post, if you're writing a message, you can simply speak, say what you want to say, and then you can then change it over to the language. And then now you are speaking your thoughts, not AI thoughts, but you're using AI to help you to refine it so that you can send it out. And that's on a sales side. And I say that as well. If English is your first language, just generally, it's much faster to speak what you want to say. So you can click at a button, you can say, all right, this is what I want to talk about. You say everything you want to talk about, and then AI can then just help you refine it, can help you not just grammatically change it, but they can put it in a narrative structure. They can say, well, start off with the problem first. This is the hook you can use based off of your information, and then you can kind of go through. And it's also good for comments. So, and this will kind of bleed into the creator side as well. But as a sales rep, really you want to be on LinkedIn. You want to be visible. You want to be present on LinkedIn because that's where it's a B2B. So that's where all of your potential clients are, or all of your recruits that you're going after, and commenting numerous times. But what happens is you go to the different comments and you're trying to think about it. And now you have to think about it. You have to, okay, what am I going to write? And sometimes that can kind of hinder your progress, and then that might push a lot of people away. But what you can do instead is, people have writing block, but you don't have talking block. So if you go to a network event and somebody comes up to you and says, what do you think about this? You're going to have an opinion. You're going to say something. You're going to use your experience to answer that. You may have to think about it for a second, but you got it right away. And that's essentially what dictation allows you to do. You read the comment and you treat it like a conversation, and then you just hit the dictation button, whatever app you decide to use, you start dictating. A lot of times on the phone, it has that ability where you can just hit the record or the mic button, and you can just dictate what you think about that, how you would answer somebody in person. And then you just use the writing tool or whatever to clean it up. Like I said, if you have Apple has Apple Intelligence to be able to do that. You can use browser extensions if you're doing it on the computer. If you're using a browser, you can actually use browser extensions to then clean up your thoughts. Once again, these are your thoughts from your mind that you have, but you're able to do this much faster and get out there and more available to a lot more people just by reading the prompt, which is what the post is about, and then offering what you think and your kind of mindset to it. And that will help in that regard, getting you to more and more places. And that, now we're going to come to the creator level. So if you're a brand, where can dictation really, really help? Well, a huge part that helped me was when I first started with East Coast Facilities, and I started doing the ECF media portion of it and then integrating that over the last 5 years. I had to learn. I knew nothing about snow, nothing about landscaping. And it was a challenge to try to understand the brand. Well, it could be a challenge to understand the brand. But the one thing that we had a lot of tech. We had posts on the internet that I was able to scrape, get all the data. We had videos that I was able to transcribe. We had training modules that I was able to transcribe, and I was able to take all of this information and be able to rapidly learn this. And then I could take my thoughts and the thoughts that were already created based off of East Coast Facilities, and then I could create content and create posts about something that I knew nothing about. Now, this is really good when you're hiring a new social media manager or you're hiring a copywriter. You can essentially just get all the data. You can summarize all the data. You can build a database using Notion, or you can use ChatGPT or whatever it is. ChatGPT has that really good idea of building a knowledge base. So you can dump in a ton of knowledge, and then you can often reference it back. Because a lot of times what I like to do is, if I will write out a post, I want to make sure it's in line with the company, what the company's philosophies are and what we have published. And so a lot of times I'll just say, all right, I have this post. I just want to make sure that it just falls in line with compliance with what we actually teach. And then if not, it'll give me suggestions. Well, we don't really say this, but if you say this, this will be pretty much the same thing. And so that helped me accelerate that process of being essentially, being a creative with our brand. Another thing you do is through interviewing. So you can interview people in your company, different sales reps. You can get all of the information you need. Now you've got the transcription. Then you can now take that transcription. You can then take all of the highlights, find the specific angle that you want, or the specific angle that you want to explore more, and then you can then add your own thought to it. And then between the two, you're creating an excellent piece of content that adds value to people, and will also, once again, it's based off of real thought, not something that AI is just pulling out of nowhere or off the internet. And that's what will give you the competitive advantage, because nobody can duplicate it, because it's essentially two individual beings that are presenting information, and then you're crafting it to what you're trying to write. So that's another use case as a creator that you can use, is just getting the training information. The other thing too is looking at a lot of times we'll do, so for instance, we're working on numerous documentaries for ECF Media for East Coast facilities, numerous documentaries. Now, how do we take 50, 60 to 100 hours of footage and craft a narrative structure? Well, just dictated is the transcript. We can go through the transcript, and what we do is called a paper edit. We then look at all of the transcript, and then we build a narrative structure that will allow us to create up to a 30, 40, 50 to an hour documentary building that narrative structure. Now, because I have experience in storytelling, I can then prompt it in a way that could get me the best possible outcome because I know the different elements in the 3-act structure, and I've been doing video for a long period of time. So learning that can be effective, but regardless, it still gives you different clips that you can use. You can say, I like this clip, and this clip. And once again, you can find it super, super quick by using transcriptions, by using a transcription service. Okay, so we talked about the sales element of it. We talked about some benefits of being a creator using it. Now, here's a bonus tip that I think many would be very, I think everybody should do. I think everybody should do this. And that is, I heard a quote that says that when an old man dies, a library burns. And so we have a lot of experiences that we have in our life that we want to document. But to sit down and just type it out can take a long time versus me just getting in front of a camera or in front of a microphone and dictating it. Perfect example with the Regis Philbin example. So as I go through my process of writing my book, the book that's going to be coming out, as I go through that process, I am going back through my life and through my career, and I'm looking at the years, and I'm just dictating my thoughts and my experiences and everything, and I'm just collecting, and I'm getting everything out of my brain into written form. Because then what I could do is, as I'm writing, I can look for use cases in my own life, my own personal life, that are completely unique to the actual book that I'm writing or the chapter I'm writing. I can look at keynotes that I've given, podcasts that I've been a part of, anytime I've been in front of a camera. And this is great for CEOs. Get your information out there. Transcribe your thoughts. Start going through this. Use AI as almost like a co-writer. When somebody co-writes a book, a lot of times they're just getting all of the thoughts and then they're re-editing it into a narrative structure, but based off of your own life. And so that's a huge advantage that you have for transcribing. So if you have a story that you want to give, and by the way, we are I have many projects in the works right now. Why? Because this is just what I do. This is my hobby. I love writing, and I love keeping my creative well filled. So the more I create, the better that I can be, and the more of a service I can be for ECF Media. And so we are, there's a project that's going to be announced that we're working on. It's called Project Hope. You will get more information on that. But part of what I'm talking about is going to be in use to be able to get the stories that we need, to get everything that we need for this project to move on. And this will be exactly the technique we're going to use. Basically, a series of interviews, and it'll be a series of interviews where you can essentially just transcribe your thoughts. First of all, Corey, thank you so much. That's so great. I can't wait to hang out with you in person. I know we got Simon coming up and a bunch of other things, but I love Corey. And at the next live stream, I'll show off the shoes that they were custom made and truly amazing. But let me get back. So yeah, so essentially just transcribing your thoughts. So if you're, like I said, if you're a CEO, get your story, go through your life and start transcribing, start recording. I know with Apple Notes, Apple record voice memos, you can record for 30, 40 minutes, and it'll actually just transcribe it right in the app for you. Get that, collect that. Don't let that information die. Get that information out of your head. And finally, a super, super awesome way that you can use dictation is basically just using the voice option. So use the voice option you have, 4 or 5 things that you want to get accomplished in a week. Dictate it, say, okay, based off of my schedule, what is the best time that I can use? When's the best time I should be doing this based off of my schedule? And it'll tell you. Talk to it, use dictation. We already talked to Alexa, we talked to other AIs, but we can actually just, as we're working, instead of just going and typing, we can actually go faster by dictating, by hitting the voice button, talking to the computer, and then it will help you get all of the information and all of the tasks that you're trying to do as far as scheduling. And there's so many ways. It's so important to be a creator and to be creative and to put your brand out there like we've been doing with ECF Media for East Coast Facilities, that we've been doing for the snow industry, for the landscaping industry, and there's just so much more. And these are all the types of things that we're going to be using to 10x, 30x ECF Media in the coming years. So after 5 years, I've learned so much. They've given me so much ownership in terms of the ability to just do what I know how to do, because I've been doing this, and I just love going back through my life as I am dictating my life, and I'm starting to record all of my experiences, and I'm getting them recorded, all of my experiences throughout, from the time I was a VP for Citigroup, from the time I ran a national I helped run a national wine company that was a direct competitor to Gary Vee and his wine library. I've been a corporate executive. I've been a regional trainer for 1,500 stores. I've done so many things in my career that I learned from, and I'm not doing this to highlight me or my what I've done. What I'm doing is I'm trying to just get all of these stories in so that when I create content, it's uniquely me. And then I can say, hey, I can actually talk and say, hey, I'm writing about this because I'm very passionate about this. What is there an instance in my life that this kind of relates to? And then I can use my own story, my own life as an example. And you can do the same thing. You can also do the same thing with your company. Start dictating and start capturing all of your history of your company, your culture, your brand, your safety guidelines, your training, because then you can duplicate yourself. You can say it once. Joshua Gomez likes to say all the time. I know a lot of people say it, but he says it, set it and forget it. And you can do this with your training. Get in, set it. There's something that's repeated all the time. Say it, have it refined, and then just post it to the company, post it to the handbook, the employee handbook. And there's just so many benefits of being a dictator, that a dictation of words that can help you and speed up the knowledge flow that you need to give, because as a CEO or as a sales rep, as a creator, you have a lot of information. You got to get that out. Let's start capturing. And that's part of the C4 plus system of content creation that we use, which is concept, capture, create, circulate. Now, the second part we talked about was capture. This is part of the capture process. You can capture what you need so that you can create what you need to create, and then allow AI to assist you in those endeavors. I've been using AI since 2017, and I'm part of 3 mastermind groups. I look up everything about, and the one thing I don't want AI to replace me. I want AI to just work as a superpower, as an enhanced skill. Super strength does not make Superman. super strength is just an additional attribute of Superman. But really what people are drawn to is who Superman is as a person. I know he's not real, but that's the idea of Superman. That's why. So AI is just a superpower that we all can have. And so on top of that, top of all these other projects I'm working on, I am releasing a brand new newsletter that's going to be coming out. It's going to be called Super Creator. And these will be how you can use AI to enhance your creativity, to enhance your own thought, not to replace you, but use as a superpower. And so I'm really looking forward to that project as well. I'm looking forward for all the things that we're going to be doing with ECF Media. I'm so thankful that I've been able to spend the last 5 years with East Coast Facilities and with ECF Media. It's been obviously, as you can see with the green, it's been a huge part of my identity and everything that I create. And I just really appreciate the opportunity that I have to be able to do this every day, to be able to wake up and to be able to create content. That's what I love to do. You know, on Instagram, I'm Joshua the Creative, because that's just what I love. I love creating every day. I love creating any possible way I can. Every job I've ever had, I love to be in creativity. Now I'm able to wake up every day and do that. So I'm really thankful for that. I can do that and to be able to exercise my creative juices. But while I do that, whatever I test out, I want to share with you so you can do that. And ultimately, we can increase the creativity and the social proof that we get online on LinkedIn from our industry, so we can attract more workers, so that we can get more people to work for us. Because it's really, trade jobs are really cool. Snow removal is awesome. Landscaping is awesome. We need more workers. So let's come over here. And if I can have any way to help in that process, then I'm really excited. Again, from previous lives that I just had last week, we have the podcast that will be coming out called I Am the Storm, which will be interviews with those in the snow removal industry at first, but then we'll move on to others as well, because snow removal covers, you know, construction, landscaping as well. And look forward to other projects. This will also be posted on the YouTube channel, and just really excited about what's coming next. So thank you so much for anybody that has listened. Please, if you listen to the replay and you have any questions, if you want to know about anything specific that regards to AI in your workflow, as far as creativity, as far as social media, or whatever it may be, please leave them in the comments. And just kind of curious what people are actually looking for. If you want to learn how to create your own voice using AI, or if you want to learn how to become better at scheduling or be more productive, that's what Super Creator is going to be about. And so I leave the question in, or leave any comments and whatever it is. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Keep creating, and I'm looking forward to my next live as I continue more and more of this conversation. And oh yeah, and I will see you at SIMA. I will be speaking at SIMA. I will be speaking at SIMA this year. It's going to be Beyond the Logo. So you built a great company. How do you go beyond the logo? How do you get this and your company out to the world? That's what I'm going to be talking about at that keynote. And I'll also be at the Snow Alliance. So make sure, if you haven't signed up for the Snow Alliance with Stork Plows and Gene Stork, make sure that you do that. Tickets are still on sale, and I'll be there to answer any questions. So keep living that swoosh life. And thank you so much again, and keep creating. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.